Hello friends, welcome back to Technique, and today we'll be doing the detailed review of the latest flagship from iQOO, the iQOO 12. Now iQOO 12 is the first smartphone with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in India, and it has lots of hardware which is being packed for a flagship device, including a triple camera periscope lens, then you get a LTPO display, solid build quality, software experience, superb performance, and then you get a good battery life, 120-watt charging is there. Everything is packed onto this flagship, and the pricing is again really good. 49,999 is the starting variant, including all the discounts. So how good is the device for this price segment? That's what we're going to talk about in this detailed review of the new iQOO 12. So let's begin. So before that, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So before going into the video, we have done the detailed camera review, charging test, the performance test, and then we also done a few comparisons. So you can check out that video. We have all the videos live on our channel, so do check out that videos in case you want more detailed information. So let's go straight into the design and build quality. Now if you look at the design of the iQOO 12, now iQOO has followed the same BMW Motorsport branding, but it's more subtle this time. You can see that iQOO branding and then the BMW Motorsport branding, and we have this in two colors. One is the white variant, which looks really good. This is the legend color. Then we also have the black, a kind of grayish color, and overall the fit and finish and build quality is really superb on the iQOO 12. If you look at the design details, you can see that the camera unit has a very nice touch to it. You can see that it's made of chrome finishing. You get the steel alloy here on the sides, which feels really nice. We have a flat side panel with power and volume keys. We have the speakers on the top and the bottom, the stereo speakers. Then you have a USB Type-C port. Then the SIM tray houses two 5G SIM card support. On the sides you have this antenna bands, and overall feels very nice in terms of feels. This is made of glass finishing. You have the triple camera setup with 100x zoom included here, and you have the iQOO branding and the Motorsport branding. Then you have fascination meets innovation branding as well. Then ultra sensing flash is also included here. So overall in terms of fit and finish, it weighs around 205 grams, and the slimness of the device is also pretty good. You can see here it's not a very thick device. It's good to hold in hands, but having said that, it's a glass finishing, so it is slightly slippery in nature. But overall, if you use the device for quite some time, you might get used to it. But again, since it's a glass finishing, we recommend using the case, because in terms of any fall happening, glass could break. But here on the display we have the short sensation up glass protection, which is kind of similar to the Corning Gorilla Glass 5 support. So in terms of display, it is protected, and you have a flat display. Unlike some of the devices which has curved display, we have a flat display. In display fingerprint scanner is also included. In display fingerprint scanner is extremely fast, and you can see that it works very good in terms of fingerprint experience. So that's the design and hardware aspect. So overall it's very premium looking device in terms of the iQOO 12. So it's one of the devices which does feel really premium in hands, and hardly anything to complain here, because the weight distribution is good, then the in-hand experience is good, the material quality, fit and finish, build, everything feels very premium. So that's the design. Now if you look at the front panel design, you can see that we have minimal bezels on the sides and the top and the bottom, but it's not unique or now looking at the front panel, you get this punch hole 16 megapixel camera. Then you can see that the bezels are not uniform, but they are minimal. You can see that the side bezels are lesser, top and bottom are slightly on the high side. But again, considering that it's a premium device, bezels are kept to minimum, but it's not similar or symmetry across all the sides, but both the sides have minimal bezels, and you can see here it's given a good finish altogether. It's a flat display, and overall in-hand experience is really good. Now next, let's talk about the display. So for every flagship device, the display matters, because display is one thing which most of the manufacturers punch in with really best options. Now you also get an LTPO panel here. It's LTPO, you get 1 to 120 Hz refresh rate. Now this is a 144 Hz refresh rate. That's something which is again good. iQOO has always had a 144 Hz refresh rate, but this time around you get a 1.5K panel instead of the 2K panel on the iQOO 11 series we had. It was 2K display. This is a 1.5K display, slight downgrade in terms of the display resolution, but you don't actually feel that 144 Hz LTPO panel. It's an AMOLED panel with a great brightness up to 3000 nits peak brightness, but again 3000 nits is available only when you are viewing HDR content. Outdoor visible brightness is somewhere around 1700 nits, which is again very good. Indoor brightness could be around peaking around 700-800 nits, which is again brilliant. In terms of usage, even outdoor visibility, indoor visibility was excellent, and display brightness is good. But again, there's no point in going up to 3000 nits of peak brightness, but again that happens only during HDR playback. But having said that, the 144 Hz refresh rate happens only when you're gaming. Otherwise, in terms of regular usage like navigating through the settings and other apps, it's generally 120 Hz. But again, 120 Hz is very smooth, and the animations have been given pretty much smoothness when it comes to fun touchOS. We'll come back to that in a while. So the display quality is very good. You also get the short sensation up glass protection, so which is equivalent to the Gorilla Glass 5 support. So display is very good. The touch response and the touch sampling rate are also good. So display LTPO panel is really brilliant, and especially for multimedia with minimal bezels, it is a treat to use, and it's a flagship quality experience on the iQOO 12. Next, let's move on to the software. Now, one thing what has been not so great about iQOO and Vivo devices has been the fun touchOS. Although fun touchOS is kind of okayish in terms of experience, but unwanted apps, unwanted notifications, and the UI experience is something which is lacking or kind of older experience. But with fun touchOS 14, things have changed actually. The experience is now better. The redesigned UI, we have done a detailed video of the fun touchOS. We felt that there has been refinement all across the fun touchOS, but again still there are some areas where it doesn't feel as refined as something like a ColorOS or even the OxygenOS, but still it does feel very smooth in terms of experience. So if you look at the UI experience, if you see the notification toggles, this has been redesigned. Does give a good feeling altogether. Then we have the app drawer. Unwanted apps have been removed, but still you do get some apps which can be uninstalled, but Netflix is pre-installed, PhonePe is pre-installed, then few other apps are also pre-installed, but you can uninstall them. That's a good aspect. Now apart from that, browser does send some notification. That's something which we didn't really like on a flagship device, and some app notifications are also included, but otherwise we feel this UI has matured now. You can see here some suggestions, and you can see here some unwanted suggestions are given. This is something which you don't expect on a flagship device. So these are some things which still needs improvement in terms of fun touchOS experience, but otherwise fun touchOS has been very solid in terms of memory management, multitasking, extreme smoothness, and if you look at the settings panel also, it has been redesigned and does give a good feel altogether. You do get additional features like dynamic effects, customization, theme support, then you get ultra game mode, and then other options are also included. So it's a very polished UI, I would say, but still some areas it still needs improvement, especially in terms of browser notification and some app recommendations which has to be removed from a flagship device. So fun touchOS 14 has improved, but still it's kind of slightly lacking in some areas which can be fixed in future updates. Now moving on to the performance. So this is the first device with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, and we have up to 16 gigs of RAM. The base variant is 12 GB RAM, 256 GB storage. This is 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabytes of internal storage. This is LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 4.0 support. Now this is USB 2.0. That's something not so great for a flagship, but I don't personally see any major disadvantages for having USB 2.0 port. Only transfer speeds are less, but otherwise it should have been USB 3.0 or above, but then it's just 2.0 again. But apart from that, the performance has been very solid on this device. We have done the detailed performance testing in terms of overall performance. The gaming experience was also really solid, and the additional chip available on the device, which we have seen on the iQOO and Vivo devices as a supercomputing chip, chip Q1, which allows better game interpolation. That means extra game frame interpolation, adding more frames to the games, making it even more smoother. That's the advantage of the chip Q1, which also helps in better camera experience and overall performance as well. So that has been added, and this is not the first time we are seeing a dedicated chip from Vivo. Previous devices also had this chip. Now, apart from that, the performance is very solid on this device. Hardly any hiccups or anything to complain. And the battery drain and the temperature, the vapor chamber cooling is again one of the largest on this device, which does give a good experience in terms of heat control. The thermals are also done really well. So we have done the performance testing of this device. In case you want, we have a dedicated video. Do check out that video to get more idea about the performance testing of this device. Now, the dual stereo speakers are also quite good. We'll just quickly have a look at the sound test of this device. Now you get in-display fingerprint scanner, which is very fast. As I said before, it's an extremely fast fingerprint unlock, and you can see that it works very fast. So that's the fingerprint scanner performance of this device. And you do get dual 5G support. All the bands are supported. Again, we tried with Airtel and Jio, excellent 5G network and reception, absolutely no issues, and the overall quality of the calls are also really good. Now that's the 5G bands, and all the 5G bands are supported on this device. It also comes with HDR support in case you want to watch movies on Netflix or other apps with HDR content. You can actually watch that on this device as well. So that's the performance, and it's a really good device for gaming as well. Now moving on to the cameras. Now this device comes with a triple camera setup. It's a primary 50 megapixel omnivision sensor. Then you get a 50 megapixel Samsung JN1 sensor, which is an ultra wide camera. Then you get an omnivision sensor, which is a 64 megapixel shooter with 3x optical zoom. Now on the front you get a 16 megapixel selfie camera. So that's the camera hardware of the iQOO 12. Now talking about the cameras, we have done the detailed camera review of this device. Found the camera to be very capable, especially in terms of daylight conditions, good solid experience, good dynamic range, and good sharpness levels too. And overall the experience is definitely good. The colors are again really done well, although there are some slight color boosting issues, but again that's not a major issue as such. Most people will definitely love the color experience. The telephoto lens and also the ultra wide angle camera did perform really well, and then apart from that, the 3x telephoto lens can also take macros, which is really impressive on this device. Apart from that, you also get very good portraits with the 3x telephoto lens, and the portraits are come really good on this device. Now the low light experience again, as I said in our camera review, is good, but then ultra wide and telephoto lens low light experience was not so great. Still needs a bit more fine tuning, but otherwise I would still say this is definitely a good camera setup for the price segment it is being offered. Some minor fine tuning would make it really good. Now when it comes to selfie camera, again it's a decent camera for selfies, but again lack of 4K support for the front camera is something which has not been fixed by most of the Android flagships. Still you get only 1080p 30 fps, not even 60 fps on the front camera. The rear camera can go up to 4K 60 fps. So that's the camera hardware. It's a good camera. Slight fine tuning would make it really better in this price segment, but people won't be disappointed with the cameras. Now moving on to the charging and the battery. Now you get a 5000 milliampere battery, and you get 120 watt charging, which charges the device in 28 minutes. Somewhere less than 30 minutes is what we got. So charging speed is good, and the battery performance is stellar. Even with all the performance oriented things, including the monster mode, we got close to 6 hours of screen on time on this device, which is very good. So for most users you might get slightly more than that, because we did extreme testing and we still got around close to 6 hours of battery life, which is very good. So I would say even with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 and all the bells and whistles in terms of hardware, the battery performance has been very solid on the iQOO 12. So you don't have to worry about the battery life on this device. So that was our detailed experience with iQOO 12. We have been using this device for almost like more than 3 weeks now, and these are our impressions about this device. So summing up, what is good about this device? The good, excellent build quality, design looks good, the display is superb, then performance is stellar, cameras are good, and then battery life and overall performance is good. Now where it needs improvement, slight improvement in terms of low light experience, that's what we feel. Apart from that, the software needs needs a bit more polishing, because it still needs that kind of experience which you should be getting from a flagship device. Unwanted notifications, unwanted app recommendation, these should be gone, at least in a flagship device. That's what we feel. So those things needs improvement. Apart from that, lack of 4K would be a deal breaker for many people who do vlog using the selfie camera. If these things are not of major issue to you, if these things are not of major issue to you, then the iQOO 12 is a solid value for money flagship device priced at 49,999. Now, when iQOO was planning to launch the iQOO 12, my gut feeling was that the pricing would be around 55 to 60,000 rupees. But iQOO did surprise us with excellent pricing. 49,999 is a great pricing for this flagship, and there are hardly any issues to complain on the iQOO 12. So it's a very good device in the flagship category, an excellent device, excellent value for money flagship from iQOO. So that was our experience. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.